Hello friends, this is Scott, and we're down at the Homestead, and it's Memorial Day weekend. And Memorial Day is a little early this year, so we're still not even to the point of wanting to plant summer crops until probably next week. So yeah, today is a day that's kind of daunting. It's been a period of time that's kind of daunting because down here, as soon as the weather warms up, weeds are just rampant. So we're doing our best to go through the garden and not get overwhelmed. And if you hear the meowing here, we got Willow with me. And we're just trying to do our best. And again, it's kind of that time of the year where everything is looking like kind of out of control. This cat doesn't know what it's like to be picked up, I don't think. So I'm gonna get clawed. Anyway, so I've just got to not be overwhelmed. I'm gonna try to get a few projects today, maybe get a couple of videos filmed. We'll see. I've got to work on the compost, flipping the bin. We didn't have a compost fire or spontaneous combustion is my last video. Everything's been doing good. The temperature's coming down on the compost. The volume's up on my two bins that I filled up, so it's time to get them flipped and use the last of my leaves to be able to maybe get that full compost bin, so then I can put the worms in, and I'll be doing other video on that. So anyway, but I'm kind of overwhelmed. I'll give you a look at this yard, and it is, there's certain areas of the yard that aren't bad. I've been doing quite a bit of weeding and mowing and things like that, but this area where the actual garden is there's parts of it are okay, but I'm just gonna have to spend the whole day today. It's a beautiful Saturday, and just pull weeds and get done what I can get done. So, well, my goal is to get ready for planting next week. And we'll see if I can, if I'm gonna be able to reach and achieve that goal. I'm a little low on dirt and I'm out of compost, I have none. So I've got to figure out what I'm gonna do about that. So yeah, it's that time of the year where everything is just is a chore and is a job, and it's, it's what I signed up for. But I guess the satisfaction is always just at the end of the day when you can look and you can see what you got accomplished. Because when it's overwhelming, you just got to start in one corner and work your way, and then appreciate what you were able to do. So yeah, I'm kind of, as you see, I'm a little bit, I got to get my motivation up because this weeding day is going to be kind of it is what it is. But it's a beautiful day. It's cool today. It's it's probably in the low 60s. It'll heat up though a little bit, I think. But got to water the pasture, and I've got to just pull weeds today, and then water the garden in at the end, and hopefully I'll have something to show you here that it looks a lot better than it does now. So let me give you a quick look at the chaos at the moment. Here's a look from the starting point today, and as you see, there's lots of weeds. You can see where I do have the cold crops in, and that area is not terribly weedy, but yeah, this area is just overgrown. As we walk around the chicken coop, you see the blocks that I'm bringing down to build that static compost bin. I haven't got to that yet. I still need to bring more blocks down. This is the last corner I'll ever get to. That's my junk corner, and it needs definitely work, but not now. Roses are out of control, but they're starting to bloom. Let's look at the asparagus bed. It's got some weeds in it, but magically we have some asparagus come up. So some of the crowns were viable, and so I don't know how many are going to come, but we'll just keep on watering it and see what happens. Now on the left is where I'm going to put a lot of the vining crops, the squashes and maybe watermelon or whatever I've got in the house that I've grown from seed. But this area here is just, it's just a bunch of weeds, and I haven't watered it, so they're hard to pull. So we're gonna do our best to get those pulled as much of it as we can. The main garden, though, we got the broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage is looking okay, and let's see what we have here. We have the onions, the red and yellow onions. I haven't planted as many onions so far, but I may put another bed in. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, for the second year in a row, my potato crop was damaged by frost. And I'm going to show you here some of the burnt leaves. Last year, though, the frost pretty much annihilated all my russet potatoes. Didn't affect the white and the red, but these are white and red in here. So we're going to see the plants are still alive. Garlic's doing great. Again, we're going to be probably a little over a month out from harvesting. And again, I've got lots of grass and weeds around the house I've got to take care of. But in this unruly end of the garden, or half of the garden, I've got some volunteer garlic in there, and I have the grass clippings that I'm going to use as mulch. I've collected some that when I plant my summer vegetables, I'm going to go ahead and use some of that mulch to keep the moisture in until they get established. See the blackberries on the left there amongst the weeds are doing good. Those are the ones I did from tip propagation from my Salt Lake residence. The Egyptian walking onions are doing good, and they're in their candlestick phase. My strawberries were not much success. I do have a few plants, and some of them are very yellow, so I did put some fertilizer on them last week, but there's a couple that are decent, and I'll have to be firming up that or making that bed a lot better. The peas that I planted, the second planting, are coming up, but they're not the greatest germination, but old seed, so we'll get what we get out of that. I'll be putting another bed there on the left, but it's just weeds now. Where I'm going to put the tomatoes, again, I brought in lots of the screen compost from my in-ground compost bin. And it's ready to go. Just got to wait for the weather to improve. And now here's the place where I planted all my radishes and carrots and beets and turnips and all that stuff. And it's hard to tell what's really there. It's more weeds than it is plants. But there are plants there. So once I get that weeded, I'll give you another look, and that'll be another video. But there's stuff, there's crops in here that have survived. And yeah, you can kind of see through there. But again, it's a waste of time until I get it all weeded out. But yeah, we do have some crop in there. And one thing that's obvious we do have is my French breakfast radishes, and they came up fairly decent. So I'll show you. They're not quite ready, but yeah, there's some getting to fairly decent size. They'll be ready within the next week. So yeah, love my French breakfast radishes. So yeah, you see, I've got lots of weeding to do, but it's not as bad as it looks. Once I get all my summer stuff planted and weeded, it'll all look pretty sharp. But see, I had a deep breath before I started this project because, yeah, I took a few of those today. But again, we just got to start someplace, and I don't know how far I'll get, but you just got to get started. And once you get started, then things start happening, and you start seeing a little bit of progress. But yeah, this is pretty daunting. I haven't watered in here at all on this edge, so it's the plants are kind of hard to pull out. So I started doing it just by hand, trying to pull them. But again, if you don't get roots, you're really not doing much of a weeding job. So got the old shovel out, and that loosened up the soil a little bit. And I'll shake the soil out and just start doing it a shovel at a time, and until I get into the more wetter areas where the weeds will come up a little bit better. But yeah, it's yeah, when you first get started, it's not a lot to look forward to. But yeah, you see a little progress. It kind of progress builds on progress, and the day kind of goes by. I didn't spend as many hours as I thought I was going to do today. I probably spent 3 hours in this part of the garden, and then I had some other projects I needed to get done today. So, and I was watering the pasture and dragging a hose, so there's a lot of breaks in between. But I got a foothold, and as you see, you can kind of take a look at how tall the weeds are. They are starting to go to seed, which I didn't want, but it is what it is. A lot of ladybugs out and about, so that was nice to see. Haven't seen many honeybees this year so far, but we got lots of ladybugs and some bad bugs that I saw today. Saw some earwigs, but I decided to go toward the garden and try to make a path. So I got to the main part of the garden, and got that weeded out. And yeah, I just kind of ended up there, and looking across what's already been planted, it's looking fairly decent. Started using some of the cardboard I've been bringing, and I decided to start using it here. And I don't have anything to weight the cardboard down with, really, other than just some grass clippings. So I did a little mowing around the garden area right here, and then I had some of the grass clippings I just kind of threw on there just to try to hold the cardboard. But yeah, started watering once I got to the point where I wasn't going to make myself a muddy mess. And it's the plants are doing well. Of all the peas from my February 3rd planting, there's 3 that survived. So I'm going to keep them alive, and we'll just work around those. But yeah, that was I planted that whole bed and just didn't work out. So anyway, there's a look at the garden as far as I got to that point, and then I started to look at this end, and I needed weed this other half of the garden. And in here, though, we have some volunteer garlic that I did not pick last year. And this was the extra garlic that I found that would volunteered, in another area of the garden. So this is pretty mature garlic. And if I would have separated these out, they would have been decent, big old heads. But they're just decent clove size now. So I'll have some fresh garlic to put with some pork chops tonight. And yeah, that's how far I got with my weeding job. And I got everything watered in really good. And I did mowed around the edges. Again, just a quick job, so it wasn't great. But yeah, the garden in itself is coming, and I am ready to plant some of the summer vegetables. But again, I'll have to weed a lot more next weekend as I'm planting. So I'll just kind of design, build, and pull weeds as I go. And that's as good as it's going to get. But yeah, the garden's coming around, and I'm pleased with it. My rows of cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage, I look like I must have been drunk when I planted those. So I don't know. And there's how much cardboard I put down so far, but I'll keep on that process. But yeah, it's the garden is coming, and it's going to change a lot here in the next little while. Now look at my 2 compost bins that I've been building and getting enough volume. The first bin's right around just under 100 degrees. The bin next to it, the second bin, is a little hotter. It's about 100 and maybe 6 to 8. So they're cooling down to the point where they are ready to flip. And again, they'll heat up again, and I'll start building another new bin with what the remaining materials I have. Well, thanks for watching this video. I've got a lot more to do, but I've got a lot of planting coming, so stay tuned for more content.